10 animals you will be glad are extinct. Many years ago, Earth was home to colossal animals that are no longer with us. While it might be awesome to see some of them again, I'm sure you feel better knowing that we won't see these ones again. Number 1. Megapiranha. Imagine being swimming peacefully, and all of a sudden thousands of piranhas move towards you. Terrible, right? Well, if you find these little fish scary, now imagine a dog-sized piranha, or even worse, a shoal of these giant piranhas. If you had ever been at the mercy of Megapiranha, that would have been your very last moment of life, because you would have been eaten up by it in seconds, since these piranhas were 28 inches long and had 2 rows of sharp teeth that attacked like a shredding machine underwater. This species lived 10 million years ago during the late Miocene in the Ituzaingó Formation, Argentina. Although I think it'd be really interesting to see one of these 22-pound piranhas in an aquarium, I'm definitely much happier knowing they no longer swim in rivers. Don't you think? Number 2. Colossus penguin. If you saw Surf's Up, you must have found it very interesting to see penguins as large and tremendous as humans.
Friend?
But there were penguins much taller and the size of a person, since they stood about 5 feet tall and walked around Antarctica freely. Its existence is known because of an extensive collection of fossils that dates from 34 to 37 million years ago at the end of the Eocene. This penguin species could hold breath underwater for up to 40 minutes, giving it enough time to hunt. Penguins are very peaceful animals, but one this size may give anyone the shivers. Imagine getting pecked by this huge animal. You wouldn't have lived to tell the tale. Number 3. Arthropleura. Listen to me, if you're afraid of centipedes, you'd better cover your eyes because this will be uneasy. This is Arthropleura, such a disgusting and frightening insect that you'll be grateful you weren't born in prehistory. This is one of the most remarkable animals that lived during the lower Carboniferous and the lower Permian. This animal crawled across North America and Scotland about 345 to 295 million years ago, and this species is the largest invertebrate that ever lived on Earth, growing up to 8.2 feet long. Originally, this animal was considered to be a predator, but recent studies indicated it was about an herbivore. But of course, this doesn't make it a nicer animal because, despite that, I think you're still grateful you never have to run into it. Arthropleura became extinct because the climate started being more and more dried, so the moist forests were gone, along with this animal. Number 4. Haast's eagle. That scene where Frodo and Sam are rescued by huge eagles will always be iconic, and that was probably not far from reality. Haast's eagle once lived in the South Island of New Zealand, and if the animal were alive, you'd certainly be shocked by its enormous size compared to modern-day eagles. This was the largest eagle in history. It weighed 33 pounds, and its prey was massive as well, so that's the reason for its size. It had a wingspan of 8.5 feet. This enormous bird became extinct mostly because its main prey, the moa, was hunted to extinction in about 1400. Once the food vanished, so did Haast's eagle. There's no evidence of fights between this eagle and humans, but according to scientists, this eagle would have been a threat to anyone. So you're lucky the animal is no longer flying through the sky. Number 5. Titanoboa. After dinosaurs said goodbye to this world over 60 million years ago, Earth was ready for new predators, and Titanoboa was one of them. As you're afraid of snakes, this means the very presence of Titanoboa would have given you a heart attack. This massive animal was 42 feet long, and that was enough to finish off any human. This is the largest snake ever discovered so far, and lived in what's now Colombia, especially where the tropical forests are located, since they were perfect for the animal to blend into its surroundings and hunt. Among its favorite prey, there were the Dinosuchus crocodiles and giant saragen turtles. If you thought going into the deep Amazon River was dangerous, now imagine what it'd be like to make this journey if Titanoboa was still alive. Number 6. Gigantopithecus. Who said Bigfoot wasn't real? Let's just say Gigantopithecus is the closest thing to the legend of Bigfoot. This animal was literally a massive ape that no modern zoo could put up. Despite the fact that only teeth and 4 jaws of this animal have been found, scientists estimated that it was 12 or 9 feet tall, which was enough to tear apart any living being nearby. The remains of this animal are usually found in the subtropical evergreen forest in South China. This giant became extinct 300,000 years ago, most likely because of the loss of its habitat or the destructive effects of monsoons. What if Gigantopithecus is still alive and you run into it? Definitely, that'd be a fascinating and terrifying experience. Number 7. Dinosuchus. Crocodiles are reckless animals, but in prehistory, they took that title to another level since they hunted dinosaurs. Dinosuchus is the best example of this because it was the largest crocodile that ever existed, having a length of about 39 feet and a set of teeth to shred. Indeed, they're still discussing whether or not Dinosuchus had a stronger bite force than the very T-Rexes. So it's no surprise that scientists say there are great possibilities for this giant croc to have fed on dinosaurs during the end of the Cretaceous period about 82 to 73 million years ago. So it makes sense that the croc's enormous size must balance out the enormous size of prey. Its hunting method was similar to that of modern-day crocs, taking the victim to the depths to eat it up. I'm pretty sure that if this giant crocodile hadn't become extinct, there would have been plenty of human fatalities in different swamps and rivers around the world, but fortunately, we can breathe freely. Number 8. Titanis. Birds have gone through major transformations over time, and they're so small today that they're pets living in cages. But millions of years ago, the terror birds were at the top of the food chain, and Titanis was one of the most outstanding predators. Being 8.2 feet long, this bird fed on mammals of that time and could peck any human to death. Although its wings were tiny to fly, this bird had long and quick feet to run long distances, reaching a top speed of 42.2 miles per hour while hunting. Once this bird put its eyes on prey, there was no way to escape. Luckily for you, this bird became extinct 15,000 years ago, so you don't have to worry about being exploring a jungle and coming upon it. Number 9. Mosasaurus. That was awesome, but terrifying at the same time. Well, Mosasaurus was basically that. This is about a genus of enormous sea dinosaurs that mastered the oceans about 82 to 66 million years ago. These huge animals were up to 58 feet long. They were so large they could even have great white sharks for breakfast. Its sense of smell wasn't fully developed, but its excellent vision made up for it. Remains of this dinosaur have been found in oceans around the world, so this indicates that there was a wide distribution of this predator. So this was a reason that mosasaurs usually got into fights with its fellow species. Fortunately for everybody here, this animal belongs to the past, but people are still amazed by how fierce and dominant this animal was. Now you're going to see an animal with such aggression, size, and distribution all over the world that thankfully it became extinct. If it came back to life, there's no doubt a global emergency would be declared. Number 10. Megalodon. If you felt terror when seeing Jaws, that's nothing compared to what Megalodon used to do. Between 23 and 3.6 million years ago during the early Miocene, there was a shark that made the great white shark look like a pet goldfish. This was the great Megalodon. This shark was one of the largest predators that ever existed, and it was about 47 to 52 feet long. The studies made of its fossils indicate this enormous shark had a cosmopolitan distribution, meaning this beast lived in more than one ocean and fed on prehistoric whales, seals, and sea turtles. as this giant animal preferred to be in warm waters. When the ice ages occurred and the waters got cold, this probably sped up its extinction. Plus, the Leviathan Melville whale's migration to very polar areas for Megalodon cut down its main source of food. Losing this shark left a huge hole in the food chain of that time, but it's not missed very much in any ocean, really. The journey back in time is over, and these animals were fascinating, but to be fair and for everyone's well-being, it's great that these creatures are no longer around Earth. And if this wasn't enough for you, here's this and this video. Enjoy them!